Welcome to another inspiring episode where we delve into remarkable stories of transformation. I'm your host, Amrita, and today we have a truly extraordinary guest whose journey will leave you in awe and remind you the incredible potential within each of us. Our guest today, Gigi, has a story that will make you believe in the limitless power of spiritual development. Gigi, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Could you share with us your incredible journey and pivotal moments when you decided to take control of your own healing?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to share my story because I know even if I can help one person, it's already worth it. So my journey started in a very unique way. I grew up in Hungary, but I always believed in a higher power. I always believed that there is something more, even though my parents were not religious or were not spiritual, but I always knew within me there is a higher power. And it was so interesting because I found God through sport, through tennis. So when I was playing tennis, I felt connected to God. But then when I came to the US, I started searching for more meaning. And I learned Reiki, I learned pranic healing, I learned the Akashic records, I learned a lot of different tools to go deeper into my spirituality. So what happened was that I lived here in California. I was working for a tennis academy in Irvine. I was working with high performance players. And it was my birthday when I remember I was in my bed and I was asking God, Creator, to accelerate my learning process because I wanted to be a healer. Like I wanted to step into my healing path. And that was the time when I celebrated my birthday, which is super interesting because tomorrow, day after tomorrow is my birthday, September 22nd, and it's exactly 10 years ago when I was here. And this is the second time I'm coming back to California. So it feels like it's coming into a full circle to share my story in details. So I was in bed and I was asking the higher power to accelerate my learning process because I really wanted to be a healer, like to help people in a bigger way. I wanted to make a difference. And I celebrated my birthday and I took a morning after pill, which is like a birth control pill. And I also went to Vegas and I celebrated my birthday. And after when I came back from Vegas, I started to feel my belly start hurting and it was very painful. And I usually don't miss work because I'm used to be a professional athlete. I know how to push through, but I couldn't get out of the bed. So I knew there was something deeper happening within me and my belly was keep growing and growing and growing. And intuitively I knew that was something deeply wrong. I could feel it in my body that was something serious. So I get on a plane and I went to Hungary. I'm Hungarian. And at the time, I haven't been back to Hungary for 5 years. So I get on a plane. I went through Russia into Hungary. And at the time, it was already like I was feeling super sick. I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat for 10 days. So I knew that was something really, really deeply serious. So I would go to the hospital. They do some tests and they tell me that they had to operate right away. And that was a monster in my belly. And I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, okay, I was glad that they find something that they can remove and I can come back to California. And they did the surgery. It was a 6-hour surgery. And then the next day, they told me that they took out my left ovaries. And I was like, okay, I had a cyst and they took out my left ovaries. I knew you can still get pregnant if you have one ovary. So I was like, okay, that's not a problem. But then the next day they told me they're going to do a biopsy on the cyst. And then when they did the biopsy, a few days later, they called me into the office and they told me that was cancer. And that was 10 years ago. I was very young. And when I heard the word cancer, I was so shocked because I lived a life where people heal the way I lived from cancer, not get cancer. And because I was eating super healthy, I was juicing every day. I was a Reiki master. I was doing my emotional healing work. I was a professional athlete. I was like, nobody gets cancer when you this healthy. How is this possible? I wanted to get answers. And I went into this deep search for finding the answers why I get sick. And actually before that, they also called me in with a group of doctors, and they told me that I have to do chemo because it is a most aggressive type of cancer. It's the most aggressive, fast-paced type of cancer, and after the surgery, they couldn't take everything out, so it will come back and grow even bigger. And I personally I could not believe that I need to do chemo, and I chose not to do it and go into my own path for finding solution to know why I get sick, because I really wanted to understand, because I felt if I don't understand why I get sick, I felt like if I didn't know why I get sick, I would recreate the cancer. So I really wanted to know that why, because it didn't make sense to me. Like, I was young, even though I had health issues before, but I healed them.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Gigi, your journey is a testament of incredible power in the human spirit. Can you take us deep into your personal experience and share the emotions you felt when you received your diagnosis?
Thank you for your question, because this is one part of me where I feel like oftentimes I get misunderstood. Because when I got the diagnosis, when they told me that was cancer, all of my body it was not in denial, because people around me thought I was in denial. I didn't understand the severity of the illness. But I had this inner knowing that, oh, it came into my life to heal it. And even though I was shocked, imagine few weeks prior to that, I was in California living the life I lived. I was a high performance coach with peak performance athletes. I was doing sports psychology. That's my background. I felt I was on top of the world. And 2 weeks later, they told me that I might die and have cancer. It was a complete turnovers, like high as possible. So I went through my emotions, where mostly it was shock. I was like, I didn't understand. I wanted to understand. But for me, the hardest thing was the people around me, they get so scared. They started to worry so much, and they really start pushing me to do chemo. And I felt they didn't believe in me that I can heal it. Even though deep in me, I knew it's possible, because I already heard stories about other people healing themselves. I heard a lot of stories. I believed in instant healing, but it's a different thing to hear something, to observe other people that truly experience it. So part of me, I was like, okay, I know it's possible. Can I do it? Can I trust myself? Can I step into my power and do it? But I knew I needed tools for that, because the tools I used, so I'm going to go to the next part of my story. So I started using the tools I already had. I did Reiki on myself. I did pranic healing. I did a lot. I went to healers, and the cancer came back even more. Actually, it spread in my belly completely. It went into my colon. It became stage 4. It came back within 4 or 5 months. So I had another surgery, and that surgery, they couldn't take everything out. They took out my right ovaries, my uterus, part of my colon. So they had to take a lot of things out in order to save me. But they couldn't take everything out because it was really, really spread. So then when they closed me up, they told me that's the only way, that you have only weeks to live if you don't do chemo. So that was the second time I had to face this situation, where first time I refused chemo, but the cancer came back. And then, can I trust myself and do it the second time when nobody believed in me? And I told my parents I'm gonna come back to the US. So I came back to Miami, and I refused to show up for the treatments, because deep inside of me, I knew if I would have gone through the treatment, it would have killed me, because I didn't believe in the treatment that I put poison in my body to heal, because I knew at the time, because I learned and I studied medical intuition, that any illness has emotional or energetic cause. If we only deal with the physical, yes, it's possible to heal something, but you're not really resolving the root.
Yeah.
So I chose not to do it again.
This is so brave.
Yes,
Very
and
brave.
I just had to. And at the time, I felt that if I don't follow my own intuition, my own belief system, I would have actually failed myself in life. Because if I go against what I believe and I do something that I don't trust or I don't know, that I know it's not for me based on other people's opinion, that I would go against my own belief system. And I did not want to live my life like that. And I didn't have any fear of dying. I cleared or healed my fear of dying because I knew there's no death. So I didn't have any pressure on that, but I didn't want to cause pain for my parents, for the people who loved me. And therefore, and I also felt that this illness came into my life to really, for me to step in to become an amazing healer and heal myself, to transform my any limitations that I might have been carried within myself. And so I chose not to do the treatment, and that's when theta healing came into my life, because I needed something that I can use to understand and heal myself, because at the time I wasn't working. I wasn't working anymore, so I couldn't go to healers. I really wanted to take charge of my own healing. So I knew that I wanted to take charge of my own healing. I didn't want to give away my power to others, but I also wanted to have tools, because I knew that just simply visualizing things or healing myself with Reiki would be just not enough, because I knew there was something deeper. That I knew that this situation came into my life to transform myself within. And that's when theta healing came into my life, which is a healing modality which teaches you how to connect to source, how to connect to creator, and how to change your beliefs, and how to do something called digging, where you go into the root, whether it's coming from this lifetime, past life, generational trauma, or even soul level. So I deep dived into that healing modality. I took all the courses that I could, and I started working on myself every single day. Sometimes I was doing theta on myself 6, 7, 8 hours. And I was so consistent, because I truly believe if I clear any suppressed emotion, if I clear or heal any old memories that I might be consciously not being aware of, that the cancer would disappear. I had that belief. Therefore, I was just clearing resentments, anger that I wasn't even aware of that I had, because it was all in the subconscious. I went into past lives, and I like really opened up my intuition to start receiving divine guidance. And I did all this inner work, and within a year, it took me a year, because after like 6, 7 months, I could feel that I start healing, but I didn't want to go back to the doctors that they tell me I still have cancer, and they put images in my mind. So I wanted to wait until I knew I was completely cancer free. So I went back to the doctors a year later and didn't find any traces of cancer. And the doctors couldn't believe that I walked in to the office. And that was truly, truly so amazing, because it really showed me, it's not just showed me, but it really proved me that how powerful we are. We can heal anything if we are consistent, if we have a belief about it, and we resolve the root cause of that.
It's a big success.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Great work. It's often in the most challenging moments that we discover our true strength. Can you reflect on your pivotal moments during your journey when you realized the depth of your inner resilience? What did you learn about yourself during those times?
Thank you so much for this question again, because I feel being a professional athlete really taught me how to face obstacles, really taught me that we cannot give up. We just have to keep going, even if we don't see results yet. And I'm so grateful for my athletic career, because I was truly able to transfer that into my healing journey, where I had the discipline, where I had the courage, where now I see I had the discipline to have a very strict diet. I was eating mostly tomatoes and cucumbers and aloe vera. That was my main diet, and juiced vegetables for years. And I know it might be difficult for so people, and for me, it was more like I knew I'm cleansing my body. I knew I'm doing something good for my body. So I really had, now especially looking back, especially now working with other people who also going through like the healing journey, is to see where I realized that yes, I did have that discipline. I did have this fanatism where if I believe something and I go for it, I can create that. And it gave me so much confidence that I do have that inner power, inner source, where if I just consistent with something and I don't give up, I can achieve it. I can create that. And that really, really taught me a lot of lessons about healing and about myself and about how the universe works.
You mentioned the heartfelt birthday wish that set your transformation and emotion. Can you describe emotional and spiritual significance of that wish?
Yes, the desire to prove that to myself that I can heal. Because when I was working in a tennis academy, I was teaching my athletes that you can heal anything with your mind. The mind is so powerful. And when I was going through this journey, I knew I had to go to places where I never been before. I had to go into things to see things that I never knew it existed before. So I really had to trust and go into to deeply my subconscious, deeply into suppressed memories where I had, which I didn't know I had, go back and resolve them, clear them, shift them, and use this energy of and literally understand the power of beliefs, because I didn't know I had beliefs. For example, I had a belief that in order to be a credible healer, I have to prove that I can do it, or I have to do it on myself in order to be credible, which is not the highest truth. But I had those belief systems coming from past life or coming from generational belief system where I didn't know I have those. But through this process, it helped me for me to realize that we have a lot of subconscious limiting beliefs that we're not aware of, and it's really directing your life without your conscious awareness. And also that understanding that God's source universe is the most powerful source of the universe. When we connect to it, when we align with it, when we use this energy for healing, we can witness instant healings. And I witnessed a lot of instant healing in my practice, where I could see things just disappear when we clear our beliefs or when we download things, and things disappear, which from a logical mind doesn't make sense. Doctors don't believe that things can disappear instantly, but there is so much proof about that now, that people can heal instantly when their body or the DNA aligns and the body heals itself, because our body have such a beautiful, deep, powerful healing ability. Where we give it energy or give it space, it heals itself.
So true. So true. Nothing to add.
Yeah, it's so true. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen this as well, and I've seen people heal from different circumstances, different disease, and it's like a pure magic, I would say.
Yes.
You know, I had a friend who had a cancer, stomach cancer, and all the doctors said that there is no way he could heal. Like he was setting himself up for the death, basically. And then he found a shaman who could help him because he helped someone else. And in a year of journey of healing, it disappeared.
Yes.
Similar as in your case, and it exists.
It does exist. And I was so, if I can share my stories, like I was so attached. I wanted to have an instant healing. I wanted to experience that, boom, you have instant healing. And I was like, wow, I did it. It was a little bit my ego. And one time, like I could feel the source told me, or I felt intuitively that every single time I was doing a healing or transformation or upgrades, those were instant healings. And a lot of instant healing or instant healings adds up, like because like cancer, especially stage 4 cancer, it can heal instantly. But sometimes, like when somebody develops a cancer, it takes longer time to develop. Usually people don't just wake up with a cancer.
Yeah.
It usually at least takes 5 years to develop or more. And a lot of times it almost becomes people's identity, those belief system that you carry. So changing those and changing my identity of who I was, sometimes the body actually takes time to catch up to the energy, because energy works faster and the body needs sometimes, because it's denser a little bit, it takes some time to catch up. So we might even heal on energetic level. The body might take a week or a 6 month or however long the body needs to take in order to completely come back to balance and alignment.
Yeah. The power belief and mindset can be profound in the healing process. Can you share with us how you cultivated and maintained the strong belief in your ability to heal naturally?
Yes. So as I mentioned before, I really wanted to have tools because I needed guidance. I needed to grab on something that I can use, because I felt like if I just believe and I don't know how to work on myself, that it would not be enough. I needed to have something. So with theta healing, we learn how to change beliefs. You learn how to see like what are the hidden benefits of an illness. So I started asking the questions of myself, like, okay, what I'm gaining from this? What is the hidden benefits? And again, it's hidden because it's not, I didn't consciously create a cancer to have the benefits, but there was so many benefits. For example, one of the benefits was I lost weight. I was skinny. Always wanted to lose weight. I was like, yes, first time in life, I'm in my ideal weight. Um, for example, other thing that my parents got divorced and they didn't talk to each other for 20 years. And when I had the illness, they start talking because they had to communicate, and they came back, and now they have a good relationship. And I started to write down all the benefits that I had, and I was like, wow, it does make sense why I, in a way, created that for myself, so I can truly step into my healing path. I can truly heal things that are generational trauma that I was the one chose in this lifetime to transform and heal those. So I had a lot of hidden benefits of that. And when we realize that anything that happens to us, there is a reason for it. And instead of going into the trauma, we can look at it as an opportunity. That really helped me to look at this situation in such a positive way, where I'm like, okay, I know I can transmute it in the highest and best way, and I came out so much stronger, and I can help others to do the same.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to those seeking to integrate spiritual into their own healing journeys?
Yes, definitely. I went to explore almost everything. I wanted to know, I just wanted to like explore and see what can I use, not just for my physical healing, but for my life. And again, like it was for me, what I grabbed onto was theta healing, which for me, it's one of the, I truly believe it's one of the most powerful healing modality, because it's actually helping to connect to your inner source. You're not depending on other person. You're not depending on other healer. You're not depending on anyone. You just sit down, connect, go into the theta brainwave, ask questions, and you can do healings on yourself. You can manifest. You can upgrade your DNA. You can do so many different things. So I use theta healing as my main modality. I went to Peru in 2013, 10 years ago, and I had plant medicine ceremonies. And it was very strong and very intense for me, because at the time I was fasting for 12 days. I just chose not to eat because I didn't want to feed the cancer cells, because I heard like if you, the cancer feeds on carbohydrates. So like, okay, I'm just going to stop eating. So I stopped eating, and the shaman gave me like a big cup of ayahuasca, and I was on the journey for 15 hours. And like my body was shaking and clearing, and the medicine actually told me that I need to go a more gentle way. And medicine told me to do theta healing. Literally, the medicine told me to use theta healing to work on myself. So I used medicine as well. I used theta healing, but I feel like the most important thing that really helps and help people heal is to approach any healing from 4 angles, from the physical, mental, emotional, and energetic level. Because if we only approach it from one level, only, let's say, just we do emotional healing, but we don't change our diet, or if we only change the diet, but we don't heal deep subconscious traumas, or if we only work energy, but we don't understand what's behind it. So I wanted to approach my healing from all the angles, from a physical, mental, emotion, energetic level, to really support that, because I knew, again, this type of cancer was super aggressive. I didn't have too much time, so I was kind of like racing with time. And I wanted to do as much as I can and the most aligned way I can in order to stay in this planet Earth and help others as well.
Let's talk about transformative power, personal growth. How this experience has changed you as a person and how you view life and these challenges different right now.
Wow, such a powerful, beautiful question. Yes, this journey, like, you cannot be the same after going through something like this, because when you face that or when you face something so big, like, you really have to evaluate your life to see your priorities, what's important, what's not important. So for me, like, really clearing and aligning and becoming more conscious things, it changed everything. It put me on a different path. Now I've been doing healing work for 10 years. Also helped me to transform my body. Also gave me this strength that anything, like, if anything comes into my life, I can transform it of my power, of my connection with the divine. Also, my friendships changed. I had new friends came in, and the old ones left my life. I mean, there was a lot of transformation. I feel like I'm a different person, and I think the most important thing is I live my life through God, through, and not from a religious perspective, but from this higher power, which is in every cell in within us and all around us, and knowing that this is the power that it's in every single being. It's not just a selected few, but it's in each and every one of us, and we can all tap into it. We can all use it. We can all create from it. And I truly believe this is where we're going with humanity, where we're awakening with our consciousness to realize that we do have choices. We can make choices, and we can choose what to do and what not to do, and choose who to become. And this is a power what nobody can take away from you. Once you understand this, it's just so engraved within you, where you just live it. You not believe it, but you just know it. You just know it in your, all the way down to your bones, into your cells.
Yeah, when you go through the process of healing, it doesn't matter in you overcoming a disease or you're overcoming the mental thing, or and you find it within you, it's hard to lose it. I would say.
Yeah.
It's there. It's always with you. It's you, basically.
Yes. And sometimes I feel like we might forget it a little bit, but then you
Yeah.
get back to remind it, like, okay, no, this is who you are. And I truly believe the more we do this work, the more we in this path, the stronger it gets. Because there's different layers in believing. I can believe a little bit, and I can believe when everything going well, and then not believing when things are not going well. So just knowing that deep inside of us, that everything we create in our life, it is from that space of creation, of that source, of that consciousness. And then life cannot be the same. It's once you wake up, you cannot go back to sleep.
Can this be better? Yeah. For those who are listening and resonating with your story, how can connect with you and access further guidance and resources on their own journeys of spiritual development and healing?
I truly in service now. I'm living the path of service now, and I do different things to help others. I explore different modalities, different healing tools. So I use mostly theta healing. I certify people, teach them how to use theta healing on themselves, which is theta healing is a certification course where you learn how to work on yourself, how to do healings on yourself and others. So I've been doing that for a long time. But also I do something called the Sacred Body Awakening, which is a practice of Mary Magdalene and Joshua to awaken the unconditional love through touch within yourselves. So this is a beautiful, deep practice that helped me a lot to also heal or transform my self-love and love myself more and love my body more. And it's such a deep, beautiful practice. So I also offer retreats and classes on that. I also work with plant medicine, a plant medicine that is very unique. A lot of people don't know about it yet, but it's coming into the collective a lot because it's so powerful and it helps people to truly, truly awaken. It's Egyptian plant medicine, and it's a very feminine, it's very gentle, but it's very clear. And I can be reached at, I have an IG account, is Unlimited Human Gisela. So anyone who would like to send a message or ask questions or get contact with me, I would love that.
Yeah, we're gonna also add your Instagram account. If someone needs to reach out to you to ask any guidance or help, they could just message you then.
So beautiful. And if people can hear it and they just even understand the frequency of it, that what's
Yeah.
possible. And like,
Yeah.
I'm cancer free for 9 years now, and like I'm healthier than ever. I think that's what I would like to share. Like that sometimes when people go through an illness, they became oftentimes so identified with the illness, and that's why they cannot let go. And I don't associate with cancer anymore. It happened, it was a part of my journey, and I move forward. And I feel healthier than ever. Even though when I was an athlete and I trained 5 hours a day, I wasn't feeling this vital, this strength. So this is really a proof where we do and we take care of ourselves, we love ourselves, we kind to ourselves, and we surround ourselves with nice people. Like we actually strengthen our life force and become we become the best version of ourselves. And this is in everyone. And this is my messages to everyone where anything is possible. And if you open and you're willing to look into yourself, if you're open and willing to these to see things that you might not wanted to see before, and also see your gifts and talents, because we all have gifts and talents, we can really, really like step in to become the unlimited human that we are.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for adding that,
Thank you.
because it really brings even more significance and power into your story, and it will help people to understand more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Super grateful.
If you're watching this video, please take a moment to like and share it with as many people as possible. Some individuals need to hear this message now, as it can provide more strength and hope for a better future. If you found this video inspiring, subscribe and enable notifications to never miss future videos.